So I'm sure by now you've all heard the news that Donald Trump has tested positive for the Rona. It was inevitable. It was only a matter of time before he contracted the virus, given his blatant disregard for social distancing guidelines, mask wearing guidelines, CDC guidelines in general, having rally after rally after rally where people weren't social distancing, where people weren't even wearing masks. And it seems like this is just something that he was proud of, the fact that he wasn't following any of these guidelines. During the debate, he even made fun of Joe Biden, saying that he wore the biggest mask you've ever seen. It's like he's proud that he doesn't wear a mask. It's something that he said would go away by March. Here we are with 200,000 deaths. And it's something he largely ignored for the past 6 months. It is what it is, remember. So now Trump supporters, Trumpists, Republican Congress people are all trying to go through these mental gymnastics in order to justify him getting the virus, in order to justify the fact that he contracted the virus despite ignoring all guidelines. It's really cultist behavior. It's cultish behavior, rather. It's such a weird thing to see from an outside perspective. All of these people staunchly defending the president no matter what he does, and the inability to admit that he's wrong. So of these staunch Trump supporters, of these cultists that can't admit that Donald Trump is wrong, that defend him no matter what he does, first up you have Greg Gutfeld of Fox News stating that Donald Trump contracted the virus because he was putting his life on the line for us. That's what happened. He put his life on the line for the American people, and that's why he contracted the virus. Take a look at Greg Gutfeld from Fox News.
Yeah, and I think, to the point about the script being flipped, the reason why it flipped, and maybe it's a flaw of Trump, is that he didn't hide from the virus. And the reason why he didn't hide from the virus is he didn't want America to hide from the virus. If he was going to ask America to get back to work, right? To get back to work and experience a risk, he was going to do the same thing. He was going to walk out there on that battlefield with you and not sit somewhere in a basement and tell you how you got to get back to work, but not go out himself. So I think he put himself on the line, and the flaw being that as an optimist, as somebody who's trying to convey a message that we're going to get through this and things are going to be better, he had to walk that walk. He had to do that. He could have scared the crap out of everybody, but he refused, and it goes back to his original point about trying to make sure the positive attitude is maintained along with a sense of concern. So he took the risk. He got the virus. But it was because he was doing it for us.
This is a difficult moment, and we just want to, again, reiterate our best wishes to him. But he is a man who was very clear in saying that this was going to disappear magically.
So according to Greg Gutfeld of Fox News, Donald Trump having rally after rally after rally where not a lot of people are wearing masks and no one is social distancing. People are yelling and shouting and chanting, "We love you." That's Donald Trump getting back to work, and that's Donald Trump going to the battlefield. I disagree. I really disagree. And I love the fact that he frames this whole thing like as if staying home and quarantining is hiding from the virus, A, and B, the idea that hiding from the virus is a bad thing. If everyone in the United States had done it for 2 weeks, a month tops, this whole thing would have been over. It would have been over. But he had to go onto the battlefield. He had to put his life on the line out there for you and for me. And here we are. The virus is still here, and people are still dying. Next up, you have another staunch Trump supporter, diehard Trump supporter, diehard cultist, Matthew Gaetz, who is somehow, some way, arguing against CDC guidelines, saying that because Trump contracted the virus, that shows that the guidelines don't work. I know it sounds extremely weird, but take a look at this clip.
Force One. And what I can tell you is that if this virus can get into the Oval, into the body of the president, there is no place where it could not possibly infect one of our fellow Americans. And that's why it's so important to continue executing on President Trump's strategy to allow our country to open up, but then to ensure that we protect the vulnerable, because there is no lockdown that can be a panacea to save everyone from everything. And this is proof positive that's the case. I hope that in a matter of days or weeks, we're not talking about how Trump survived the coronavirus, but maybe how the coronavirus survived Trump. He is the hardest working man I have ever met. He's one of the strongest, and I wish him all the best.
So according to Matt Gaetz, there is no lockdown that could have prevented this. Social distancing guidelines don't work. Mask guidelines don't work. And that's why he contracted the virus, because these things don't work. Except his argument falls apart there when you realize that that wasn't going on. This just wasn't going on. You have Donald Trump holding rally after rally after rally. There's video evidence of him doing this. Like, the video is out there. You have the super spreader event for this new Supreme Court Justice nominee. You have people just talking and hugging and greeting each other. Not a mask in sight. So you can't say that these things don't work because they haven't been tried. Because on a national level, we haven't done it. These people are living in a whole different dimension by saying this. It's obvious that these people will just defend him no matter what he does. Even if he doesn't have a leg to stand on, they're going to defend it. They're going to justify it. And Matt Gaetz apparently doesn't know how language works, because he says in a few weeks, a few days or a few weeks, hopefully we're not talking about how Donald Trump survived the coronavirus, and hopefully we're talking about how the coronavirus survived Donald Trump. Wow, it's very poetic, it's very beautiful and heartfelt, except that means that the coronavirus lasts longer than Donald Trump. The virus is outlasting Donald Trump, which means in this scenario that you're hoping for, Donald Trump is dead. So he doesn't know how language works. And given the state of affairs currently in this country, this virus is going to outlast a lot of us, because no one's taking any sort of steps, any sort of precautions to stop it from spreading. You have people actively against masks, having protests against lockdowns, having protests against wearing masks. So yeah, it's a real possibility that the virus is going to outlast Donald Trump. So these people are delusional. That's what it all boils down to. These people have no idea what they're talking about. They're going to defend Donald Trump no matter what he says. And that's why we're currently in the state of affairs that we're in. And that's why Donald Trump contracted the virus. Because he's built up this cult of personality where everything that he says is the truth. And he's actually bought into the BS that he's spewing. That masks don't work. That masks are stupid. That you shouldn't social distance. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Agree or disagree, let's have a conversation. And subscribe to join the political revolution against mainstream media. CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News, they're all bought and paid for. Independent progressive media is the path forward. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.